This is a topic that I've always kind of been relatively comfortable with, but I never been able to put into words until I read about it. And I was like, you know what? This makes so much fucking sense. And it's, as a man, you need to be the center of your own universe, I guess. So they talked about the idea that man is a slave to his work, right? Men are naturally providers, and therefore they like working, right? Like if you're a man, you kind of understand it's like when you're not working, when you're not taking action on something, you genuinely feel bored. You feel like you're useless. You feel like not valuable, right? And so when you're working, you actually feel good about yourself. You actually feel like you're being productive, you're making money or whatever. And that's why like men naturally will chase things that require a lot of work on their part. And women typically don't understand, or lazy guys don't typically understand. But being a masculine man, you're like, yeah, that makes sense. Like when I'm in the gym for 3 hours a day, it makes no sense to people. When I'm constantly thinking about how to make more money, it doesn't make sense to people. When I'm like purposely putting myself in stressful and like dangerous situations because I need that like exhilaration, or I need something to work towards, people don't understand it, right? But it's like it's a natural masculine feeling that most likely it's probably connected to your testosterone, right? So the more testosterone you have, the more masculine you are. The more masculine you are, typically the more successful you are, right? That's a whole nother topic. Nonetheless, if you as a man can make yourself the center of your universe, life becomes so much more fulfilling. But let me get back to the main point, the slave thing. Men are naturally providers, and therefore they're naturally slaves to their work. And so in this book I was reading about, they're talking about like when you're like first born as a man, you're trying to work. Maybe you like help your parents at first, and that's when you feel useful, and then eventually you work for yourself. Like you try to make a living, make money, do this and that, and then very quickly you realize like as a man you don't really need much. We're not like women. Like we can live a very like simplistic life. Like if all we have is like the gym and like a job that makes us money and a bed, we don't even need a bed frame. Like we're good. Like as long as you got some food and those three things, we're chilling, right? And it's like, again, that like sort of lifestyle doesn't make sense to women because they just need a lot more or whatever. But it's like as a man, like that's why most of the army is men. That's literally all they're doing. They're just working, sleeping, and eating, right? And that's fine for us. So very quickly you'll realize that working for yourself is that much of a challenge. And so you're like, even if you're not making that much money or whatever, like you'll be fine. Like you'll be comfortable enough. But it's like you need and want to strive for more, but you can't do so because you don't have the goals, right? Goals give you direction. The goals give you a sort of thing to work towards. So if your goal was to just be comfortable and chillax and like you're stable, you can quickly do that as a solo man. But then once you start getting like a girlfriend, a wife, a child, now you have goals. Now you want to take care of the woman. You don't want her to work. You want to give your child the toys and the trips and everything that they could possibly want in life, right? The big house, the fancy car, or whatever, right? So now that you have something to work towards, you can start grinding and being a slave again, right? And I know the slave isn't like the best word to use, but it's like slave as in like you want to work and you need to work. And that's why it's a little bit controversial or whatever. But as a man, you want to provide, you want to work. And so you'll see this time and time again when men get married and they have a child, you'll see them work way more than they typically would work, right? And it's because we're naturally workers and providers. But these men typically are never happy or fulfilled with their life, no matter how much they earn, how much they make. They're not happy, they're not joyful or whatever. But a key concept that I've realized recently I read this like sort of like slave theory or whatever a while back, and then I read this one I'm about to say, it's like you as a man need to be the center of your own universe. And at first you're like, that sounds a little bit gay or whatever the case may be, but it's like the way I explained it won't make sense to you. So it's like men will make themselves become slaves to other things, their child, their wife, their parents, or whatever, maybe just a small part of their life to themselves. And when you do this, you cause yourself so much stress and pain and unhappiness, and you never feel fulfilled because you're always working for someone else rather than for yourself. And it causes you to never actually like self-actualize. You never transcend. You can never progress because you're working off someone else's goals, someone else's, like if I'm working for someone else, I can never fully fulfill them because I don't know what their end goals are, and I'm not working for myself. Like working for yourself is like the key to fulfillment, right? Because we humans naturally like working, right? We're not like anti-productive creatures. We want to work, feel productive, and earn a living, feel fulfilled, or whatever the case may be, right? Because everything is work, not just like a job isn't equal to work. Work is everything. If you go to the gym, it's work. If you cook a meal, it's work. Everything is work. So it's like the opposite of work would be doing absolutely nothing. And if you've been in a position where you're doing absolutely nothing, you know how fucking shit it is. Like, you feel horrible. You're just sitting there and like it's like you're paraplegic or something, right? It's like, to do nothing all day would be like the worst possible life. So everybody actually does want to work. They just think work is equivalent to having a job, and that's not the case, right? And so if you make yourself the center of your universe, you understand that all of your goals are your goals, right? And that's what you're constantly working towards. And even if your goals, as most men do, right, they have goals, and once they achieve those goals, the goalposts move, and now the goals become bigger, from wanting $100,000 income to $1 million income to a $10 million income, or wanting to become like 185 pounds lean to 180 pounds lean to one, like whatever, right? Benching 225 to benching 305 or whatever, right? Like, the goalposts always move, and that's fine, right? But you have to have an understanding that you're achieving these goals for you and not for someone else. So a lot of guys will get into the gym in the beginning for like the vanity and like the pursuit of looks, or even more so often women, right? They believe that if they go to the gym and they become jacked, that women will chase after them, or women will start pursuing them more, or their conversion rate with women will be higher, right? And then very quickly, not quickly, like, you'll realize as you go to the gym more and more, you will get more attention from women, but you won't actually get more women. Like, people, like, you'll get more attention from humans in general, because people will be like, wow, this guy's jacked, this guy's actually in shape, which is already a rare thing in society, right? So that's why you're getting that attention, but it's not because they're actually physically interested in you. And so guys will go to the gym for a year, 2 years, getting in really good shape, and then because they don't ever get the women, they never get a positive feedback loop, and they feel unfulfilled, they feel unsatisfied. They're like, I lost all this weight, I look good now, and the women still are not coming. When it's like, if you wanted to get women, you should have went straight after women. You shouldn't have went around it. Like, if you're here, you want women, you gotta go straight. You don't wanna go from here, go to the gym, and then potentially attract women, right? It's just, it might have been just like the wrong image in your head. Like, you kind of had the wrong understanding of what the gym was actually gonna do for you. But even after understanding and realizing that the women aren't coming, you still go to the gym. This is what happened to me. And you'd be like, I'm not getting more women. I'm getting slightly more attention and this and that. I feel more confident, but I'm still not getting more women. But I still want to go to the gym. And it's because you go to the gym for you. You go to the gym so you have the good physique. You go to the gym so you have the confidence. You go to the gym so that you're strong and capable of fighting and you feel masculine, right? And it's like, when you go through that whole like period and you understand everything, you understand that you went to the gym for you. You were the center of your universe. All this work that you input is giving you the results and happiness and fulfillment because you were at the center. You did this for you. And once you get off the mind shift that like, I'm gonna go to the gym for me rather than go to the gym for women, the workouts are so much better, life is so much better, and you're not chasing something that you're never gonna actually get. It's like a dog chasing his tail when you're like going to the gym to get one more woman. It's like, if you want more women, approach more women. Like, you gotta do things directly. And if like, same thing with guys who are trying to get rich. Like, guys will get rich, they'll work their ass off, their life off, right? They'll do nothing besides focus on money. Like, they'll be in horrible shape, they'll be unhappy, they'll be cheated on, whatever the case may be, right? But they'll have money, and then they'll be rich, and they'll be like, why aren't the women coming, right? Like, you'll typically see guys are typically chasing after women. Like, that's a big goal of theirs, to get lots of women or whatever, and that's fine, right? Use it as motivation. But at one point, you'll understand that the skills that you acquire are actually, like, that journey that you go through is actually the most enjoyable part. So the journey from fat to fit, or poor to rich, or not being able to swim, or not knowing how to fight, to being able to be in a ring and knock someone out, right? It's like, that journey is actually the part that you enjoy, but only if you understand that you're doing it for you. And so as a man, you need to do things for you. And you might be like, no, that sounds so selfish. When I get a wife, I want her to be the center of my universe. It's like, one, you're putting a woman on a pedestal. Second, you're gonna set yourself up for failure because you're never gonna be fulfilled or happy. And third, women don't want that either. Like, I don't know why us men have this like false perception of like, as if we understand female psychology and female gaze. It's like, a woman would rather have a man who's like super ambitious and works hard towards his goals, and she can kind of just come into his life and enjoy the ride with him, rather than come into his life and she is now the new center. So everything he does is for her. He's working the job so he can buy her a purse. He's learning how to compliment women better. He's learning how to listen to her better. It's like, once she becomes the center of your life, she actually becomes less interested in you because you put her on a pedestal and you treat her like a celebrity, and she's gonna treat you like a fan. It's like it's all correlated and like connected. So it's like you have to understand. I'm telling you this because there's the intricacies involved are a lot more than just like the typical male mind where it's like, oh no, if she's my wife, she has to be the center of my universe. It's like, no, in enough time you'll realize why it's wrong, and while she'll like lose interest and she'll like stop sleeping with you, she'll look at other men or whatever the case may be, you'll see it with time. But I'm just telling you now so you're aware of it, and if you can just act with the state of mind, you'll understand why it works. And like you'll see it all the time, like the men who like care about the women so much and do everything for them, the women lose interest. He seems like a nice guy, he seems like a loser, a simp, and then they end up like breaking things off. But the guy who just does not care and he's constantly working towards his dreams and his goals, the women are more and more interested in him. She's not looking at any other guy, she's not cheating, she still finds him sexually attractive. And it's like women will talk about like a man who's ambitious is like super attractive to them, right? Because it's like they like a man who's focused, a man who's working towards his goals, because she is her own center of her own universe, and you need to be your own center of your universe. And it's like when you're working towards your goals, let's just say it's like you're in a car and you're driving towards your goal, you have an end destination. She doesn't want to be the end destination. Like you still need to go towards your things. She just needs to be in the passenger seat to enjoy the ride along and then be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor eventually, right? And that's the same way you need to see it. And you need to understand, like, you can't be like, oh, why would I let this random girl just enjoy the fruits of my labor? It's like the fruits of the labor was your labor. You will enjoy things. You value things more when you work towards it. And so all the labor that you put in, no matter what it is, the fruits, whatever the fruits are, you'll enjoy it way more than whatever girl's with you, right? She's just there along for the ride. She's enjoying the work that you put in. And you as a man who's a natural worker will, like, not only would you want to put in that work, but the fruits will taste that much better to you because it was yours that you worked towards. And if you understand this, you understand why you need to be the center of your universe. I keep saying it. If you can understand this concept, in the end, you'll win.